Yes, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to the channel. It is Combat Catch Up Live, joined by the two legends, Luke Tanner and Jamie Phillips. Well, currently Valentina Phillips on the screen at the moment. But no, hope you're all well. If you haven't already, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And more importantly, go and subscribe to Luke's channel and go and subscribe to Jamie's channel. Links are in the description. Today, we're going to be speaking about Ilia Topuria, the most talked about man in MMA currently.
Sorry about that.
We're going to be speaking about.
I needed a quick piss. I'm getting old. Sorry.
Are we all, brother? Are we all? We're going to be speaking about the new era of fight. Potentially 4 undefeated fighters fought at UFC 308 and all kept their records intact. When you speak about UFC 308, a little bit of detail, and also Brandon Moreno returns this Saturday night at UFC Fight Night. Boys, Ilia Topuria scored a sensational KO win over Max Holloway, the first man to stop Max Holloway via knockout, the first person to knock him down cleanly and keep him there as well, and keeps his undefeated record. And look, has back-to-back wins over 2 of the, in my opinion, 4 featherweight goats in UFC, and is looking like the next breakout superstar. I mean, we said this after the fights. If he isn't made a superstar now, then the UFC are completely getting everything wrong. And as of right now, Conor McGregor is speaking about him, Diego Lopez is speaking about him, Paddy Pimblett speaking about him, Volk speaking about him, Makhachev is on his radar.
Bilal Muhammad's on his radar.
Bilal Muhammad. So, Luke, I'm going to start with you. We all presume that it's going to be Volkanovski next. However, given the choice, if you were playing matchmaker, who would you pair Ilia Topuria up with next, and why?
I'd give him Diego Lopez in Spain. Give him what he wants, because I know that, you know, the winner would, out of Max and Ilia, would be fighting Volk, or a Volk in Sydney was basically how it was dressed up to be. Obviously, Ilia won. He's gone. I don't want to fight in Sydney.
Yeah, don't blame me. It's a short turnaround.
Short turnaround. I knocked you out. I'm the champ. I want to fight in Spain. Like, it's sort of been confirmed that the UFC will go to Spain next.
Got the shake. Sorry.
So yeah, give Topuria Diego Lopez in Spain. You know, let him get the work done in his division before we're talking about him doing any move ups and entertaining super fights with other champions. Like, he's got a deep division to get dealing with fighters with exciting fights. That's the next step. Do not want to see a Volkanovski rematch. Volk doesn't deserve the rematch. He'll get stopped quicker, get stopped easier. No rematch for Alexander Volkanovski. Please. I beg.
I'm glad. We're going to touch on that because he wasn't the only fighter promised a title shot going into this card on the back of the results. Jay, Luke's gone with Diego Lopez in Spain for Ilia Topuria's next fight. I've got my person. Who would it be for you?
Hang on.
If you could choose.
Hang on. Let's just get this. Let's get me in focus a bit. It should be Islam Makhachev versus Ilia in the next fight. And there should be no other fight made for either man. The reason is, I come out because it's an ugly close-up. Ilia is the new Conor McGregor of the UFC. He's their new superstar at that division. Islam is also a superstar in his own right. There is no better time to make this fight than now. I don't want it happening in 2 years' time, when maybe neither of them are at the power, and I mean the ultimate power they're at now. That I don't think either of them will be as great as they are in 2 years' time compared to where they are now, because you can go through wars in 2 years, you know, and can that be slip-ups and all that. Right now, they're the 2 best fighters, apart from Alex Pereira, they're the 2 best fighters on planet Earth right now. Let's do the fight. Let's just do it. You can do all the other fights of Volkanovski and Diego and Lopez and all them guys who deserve shots at the title and stuff like that. No doubt about it. Let's do this fight. It's how many money fights have we got in UFC in reality, guys? Not many.
Not a lot.
These two are in the absolute strength of. They will never be this powerful. Islam.
I'd say Islam's at his peak.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ilya's not at his peak yet.
I just want to see this fight, man. I want to see this fight. In 2 years' time, anything can happen. You know, Ilya could get chinned and just, it could, you know what, Emma, it happens in combat sport. Anything can happen.
I play devil's advocate. You know,
of course.
I want it now.
If I'm Islam and they offer me that fight, I'd be turning around saying, hey, look, I've fought a featherweight coming up for my belt. What about the opportunity that you're going to give me to jump up to 70 to challenge for that belt?
That'd be after it.
Well, you never know. He might have lost. But that's the thing. Like, Islam could easily spin it and go, hey, look, I fought Volt coming up. Had 2 great wars. Well, 1 great war. Fight of the year. Smashed him in the rematch. He said that I can have my 170 title shot. You don't want to go back on your word because you want to, in his eyes, give this hot shot a title shot when he's got other fighters that are begging for
I don't think there's any fight at welterweight that's better than Ilya versus Islam.
All right.
True.
I think it's the biggest money fight they can do. Apart from John Jones and Aspinall or Pereira and Aspinall, I don't give a shit about anything else in this company because it's dog turd. Right? I'm going to be totally honest with you. Dog turd. Right? Yes, when Power Slap is getting promoted more in UFC, you know how shit we're in, yeah? I know more backgrounds about Power Slap fighters than I do about UFC fighters. Right? This is the disrespect to this sport now. So we've got 5 superstars, yeah? If you want to count John Jones, right? Let's make them fight each other. Dana White used to say, this is where the best fight the best. Well, let's do it. Ilya and Islam they're the best 2 fighters, apart from Pereira, on planet Earth. There's a 1 weight division between them. I want to see it. The world wants to see it. I don't want to see it in 2 years' time because it would be worn off by then. It'll be worn off by then. And Islam could easily go at welterweight, like Luke said, and you're never going to see that fight. You know, let's do it now, man. These 2 are superb. They're the 2 best. I want to see the best fight and the best fight we used to. Let's do it, man.
All right. So, Luke, you gone with Diego Lopez. Jay, you gone with Islam?
I've gone with a sensible option. I felt like I should have just gone, fuck it.
I'm just going to say it now. Make Ilya versus Conor McGregor, 155.
Fuck. Have you been watching Kamaru Usman? Have you been watching Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo?
No. Do it now, boys. And let me put my case forward. Both of you put forward your cases and they were brilliant. Both of you are absolutely spot on with your points. But you spoke about money fights, Jay. You spoke about Spain, Luke. Name me a bigger money fight in the UFC and name me a fight that sells out the Bernabeu quicker than Conor McGregor versus Ilia Topuria at 55. Conor McGregor returns. Conor McGregor was one of the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, of featherweights. Ilya's already beaten 2 on the Mount Rushmore featherweights in Max and Volk. He's not going to fight Aldo because Aldo's a bantamweight and Aldo's past his peak now. Let him get and let him collect the other person who ran through that division, Conor McGregor. Conor is returning. How's Conor going to look? They've been chirping back and forth. Ilya's the Conor copycat. That's the fight to make. Because if Ilya goes and starches Conor, Ilya then goes from a superstar to a megastar. Then you do Islam versus Ilya. Then you've got them both at their peak powers. Because Ilya would have beaten Conor, would have been a mega superstar, and you can do that fight and absolutely dine out. And then in the meantime, you've got Volk and Diego Lopez in Sydney for the interim belt. So you're not holding up the division. You're deciding a true number 1 contender. Heck, go all out with it. Evloev's fighting Aljamain Sterling. Make that a little competition. So whoever wins out of Volk and Diego Lopez fights the winner of Mozart, Evloev, and Sterling. Conor and Ilya is the fight to make. Boom.
At what weight?
55. On it. Do it at 70, Jay. I don't even give a
I think you might have to. I don't can Conor make 155 anymore.
Do it at 70. Do you know why? Even more reason, Jay. Look at the tee up you've just given me. Assist King Jamie. Check this out.
Call me Ozil.
Who's got 3 knockouts in 3 different weight divisions? Conor McGregor. He's got one at 45, 55, and 70. Who's got knockouts in 2 divisions at the moment? Ilya, 45 and 55. If he goes on for fights, Conor at 70 he gets 3. He becomes the second man in history to do it. And who will he be doing it against? The first man in history. Slide me up.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I agree with everything you just said.
Sorry to pour a bit of cold water, but I said that on my stream.
No cold water, bro.
the other day. Is that McGregor win as big as it once was back in the day when you beat McGregor? Think about the hype Diaz got after submitting McGregor. Look at the fanfare Khabib got when he beat McGregor, when Dustin knocked out McGregor. I don't know whether or not you'd still get the same euphoria if you knocked out this version of McGregor, because we know what McGregor's been doing since he broke his leg. He's been taking every single drug under the sun, sleeping with any woman he sees, sniffing the strongest coke. He says he's training, but let's be honest, he's literally been partying for about 3 years straight.
I hear you.
He's
still got it. Shall I tell you why? Because we ain't seen Conor at 70 for a while. We saw him against Dustin and he broke his leg. The fight before that against Dustin, he wasn't right. Lost. Before that, he lost to Khabib via submission. Ilya is the fight to make. Ilya and Conor's the fight to make, bro. If you want to build a superstar in WWE, in wrestling, to make a star, they beat a star. You have to give the rub. You got to do business, as they say in WWE. You got to do business.
I would say, I know what Luke's saying.
Screw over Conor as well, so
I get what Luke's saying here, because Luke's saying from an MMA standpoint is a win over Conor. That
we're trying to get the casuals back.
Special, I think, and Luke's probably right on that front. But beating Conor just makes you a world star straight away, because look, when Conor fights, every media outlet picks it up, even if they're not interested in MMA or UFC. They pick it up because it's Conor McGregor. If they see this geezer Ilya, who looks the way he is, built the way he is, hits the way he is, knocks out Conor McGregor, overnight, he just becomes a megastar around the world, not just in MMA. He becomes a megastar. People start talking about him. You'll get boxers talking about him. You get casual fans talking about him. Makes him a megastar.
Is everything that Sean O'Malley thinks he is.
Yeah. And Sean O'Malley realised that.
ARK there says Ilya's already a star. He is in MMA circles.
Not a superstar.
He's not like my dad. Don't know who Ilya is, but he knows who Conor McGregor is. He don't watch UFC or MMA, but he knows who Conor McGregor is. Ilya's a star in the circle of MMA, but these fighters just don't want to be stars in the sport they're in. They want to be world superstars. Yeah. You know, what person don't know David Beckham or Messi or Ronaldo? You don't have to be a football fan. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's the world they live in. That's what they want to be. And I think Ilya, look, that fight makes sense. I think there's going to be something in it. But Dana White's a boring old fucker now, and he's just going to book Ilya versus Volk. We all know.
All right. So on that, then, boys, going into UFC 308. Dricus du Plessis was fighting Sean Strickland. However, you had Hamzat versus Robert Whittaker. You also knew that Volk was getting the winner of Max and Ilya.
Now, Lopez just got flown out for nothing.
Well, so here's my thing on that. I get that the UFC wanted to make fights. However, should they have doubled down and made these fights before these fights happen? Because I'm going to be real with you. I've got no interest in watching du Plessis versus Strickland as opposed to du Plessis versus Hamzat. And I'll be honest with you, I have no desire to see Volk versus Ilya again.
We got to be careful. We got to be careful with the Hamzat stuff.
Go on, why'd you say that?
It's very political. It's extremely political.
Yeah,
I know, we know who he's in bed with, and that's
Yeah.
the reason. And that's the reason he can't fight in America. And them same people are in his corner. So it's a very political point. For me, I've said this time and time again. I don't think you can be a UFC champion if you don't fight in America. It's an American company. 95% of its fights are in America. Hamzat's got to come to some way of fighting in America.
Yeah, he said that he's been over to America. Dana said that he's been able to go over to America, but he's been able to fight in America. And I think it's the same for Shadow Putin. Like, he can't fight anywhere outside of basically Saudi. So he says his next fight's on the Saudi card in February.
Yeah, first of
You're not getting the best of Hamzat either. Well, you only go to see Hamzat 1 or twice a year. I don't want to see that. I want to see Hamzat doing promos and publicity and stuff like that, and touring around the country and stuff like that. I don't want him locked down to one place as well. So they've got to try and find some way. The company and Hamzat have got to find some way of getting him fighting properly in America. They just do. It's an American company. People might not like it. I'm not being racist or anything like that. It's just, it has to fight in America, and at this moment in time, he can't.
Yeah,
here's the thing as well. Sorry,
I think Dana did say, like, in his press conference that, hey, if either Whittaker or Hamzat put in a stellar performance, then sort of Hindley card subject to change. Sort of thing. Like, the Duplessis Strickland wasn't fully locked in, and we know Dana would be willing to piss off a fighter to give a fight that he wants to see. So he has no problem stepping over fighters' toes to.
Oh, Hamzat's getting the next title shot. That's no.
He should, in my opinion, he should.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: if I'm Dana White or whoever speaks to Sean Strickland, I would say, look, you've got two options. You either wait until the winner of Hamzat and for the winner of the Hamzat and Duplessis, or you fight Izzy in the meantime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you're saying you want, like, if you want to wait for the title shot, that's fine. But then Hamzat's getting in next because Hamzat just beat Rob Whittaker, and your last win was against Paulo Costa. And he dominated. He went out and stopped Whittaker. You won't even fight Whittaker.
The problem you got with Strickland is that he should have got the automatic rematch anyway.
He should have, yes. And this is the problem where Izzy didn't deserve that match.
Yeah, and now he gave it to Izzy because Izzy's the superstar. So he's going to have, like, DDP and Strickland will have to happen. There's
and plus, Duplessis wants his next fight in Africa.
And I know AOK is saying they do 4 non-US pay-per-views a year, but that doesn't mean Hamzat's going to be on any of them, my friend. That's the issue. And also, do fighters want to go to Saudi all the time to fight Hamzat? Because they'll feel like eventually they're fighting someone on home turf.
Yeah, they are.
That's constantly, and that's another issue. And it's a political minefield that the UFC have got to somehow, because you think Hamzat's a star now. Hamzat's a star now. Get Hamzat in front of the American public. Get him in front of doing tours around America for big fights and stuff like that. It becomes a superstar. There's no doubt about it. So UFC have got to try and do something about it, in my opinion. Make him a superstar now.
Completely agree. Are we entering a new era of fighter, boys? We've seen Volk and Max KO'd by Ilya. Lerone Murphy's making waves at 45. Sterling's now at 45. Evloev's there. Diego Lopez just knocked off Brian Ortega recently. Look at Makachev at 155. Your likes of Gaethje, Poirier, they're kind of being fizzled out now. Dan Hooker's back in that top 5. Sarukian's there. Then you look at 70. Bilal just won the belt of Leon, but then you've got Shavkat knocking on the door. You've got Ian Gary there. Madalena.
Bums you are talking about here. It drives me mad.
Then 85. You look at Duplessis, who's just won the belt, and now Hamzat looking like he's knocking on the door. 205. No one's really knocking on Pereira's door because no one wants to get knocked out apart from Ankalaev. And then heavyweight, you've got Tom Aspinall. And then 4 fighters, as I said, Shara Bullet, Lerone Murphy, Ilya Topuria, Hamzat, all on the card, all put their undefeated record on the line, all came out with their undefeated records intact. Are we now seeing the handing over of the baton?
Yeah, we've seen a mid-off.
I knew that was going. Fuck it, I knew that was going.
When you say mid-off, though, Jay, are you saying this in the sense of because they're not stars, or because you don't think they're great fighters or have the potential to be great fighters? Or
I keep saying this time and time again. The fighters today ain't as good as the fighters yesterday. I don't care what anyone says; they're just not. I think Islam, Pereira, and Ilya are three of the outstanding champions in the company. Everyone else I couldn't give a shit about.
Not even Pantoja. You don't rate Pantoja?
No, he's the most boring man I've ever seen. Not only is he a boring fighter, he's a boring human. I'm surprised. When he was born, someone sucked his personality away from him. So here's a boy. He's going to be a fighter, but let's get rid of that personality before he grows.
Pantoja can fight. He puts on exciting fights, though.
No, man's a bum. I'm just... there's no promotion. I don't know the background of many fighters, and I love MMA.
Yeah,
this is what I keep talking about. There's a bloke who works for Power Slap, yeah, and he's, he talks about the mental breakdowns that he used to have. He was in prison and all this sort of stuff. I learned about his background. I was like, how have I learned about this geezer's background? Yeah. And I've not completely learned everything about Alex Pereira and Ilya, who are two of your best fighters in the company.
Yeah,
it's the promotion. They don't care. They go wheel out the shit. Yeah, they just go wheel out the shit. And unfortunately, this is the world we're at the moment. The best are not fighting the best no more. Simple as that.
It's done into boxing. It's done everything that they said that boxing was, where the best don't fight the best, where they put every obstacle in the way to make sure the best never fight the best. But boxing's changing because guess what? Saudi are willing to put a shit ton of cash on the line to make these fights happen. And even then, we're still not getting fights that people want to see, like Canelo Crawford, because Canelo's rejecting £250 million because he doesn't want to fight Crawford type of things. And we know now the UFC's in that line of business, going to Saudi twice a year, taking the bag, as always. But we know Dana's passion is pretty much gone because he's openly admitted that he enjoys the Contender Series more than the actual big events. And you could tell in the press conferences, he's snappier. He doesn't like the media. He is slagging off the very media that is trying to, get people hooked on this sport, because you're certainly not hooking people on this sport. You're not inviting casuals in. You're sort of turning casuals away. You say more rhetoric. Great performance by Islam against Dustin. You bang on about John Jones. Mate, he's not even fighting. Yeah. Now, of course, you can bang on about him because he's fighting next month. Fighting in 3 weeks.
We hope.
Well, we hope. And hey, Champa's on ice if Stipe wins,
Yeah, I mean, that Champa's going to stay on the ice, but cool.
I personally, no one will admit this because MMA media is dead and they all talk out their backside and they all talk like robots. But there's too many weight divisions. When I look back at UFC when it was at its best, I think there's 4 weight divisions. There's too many weight divisions that no one gives a shit about. I've always said it, lightweight and I don't think there's enough. I think there's too many. 145 and 155 should be one weight class when there's only like 10 pounds between them. That should be one weight class. I think we need to just mold some of it. And some of the female weight classes, do we need so many? Personally, I think
we need the atomweight division.
Let me push back on that, Jay. The reason why I say I don't think there's enough is probably for the same reason you're saying there's too many. I actually think if you add a weight division in between, let's say if you add a 165-pound division and then move welterweight to 175, then you've got 85. I'd probably bring in a 95 and then a 225 as well. I actually think you see more crossover fights.
Well, the reason I say this,
opportunities to get that triple champ, which I think the UFC is desperate for.
Yeah. I agree with it, by the way. And the reason I say this is because, in my opinion, with the more weight classes, UFC has been more poorly promoted.
Okay.
Because Dana can't. It's very obvious to me, and maybe some others. Dana don't care about certain weight classes in this company.
Yeah.
He let the greatest of all time leave for Ben Daddy Bod Askren. Yeah? The most boring fighter alive, right? No one does that if you care about that division, right?
Yeah.
You build the division, maybe you mold two divisions together and make that a more exciting division, or you find super talent to go into that division. Yeah, you don't get rid of Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say. He doesn't care about certain positions. So if you have more and more, he's not going to promote it, and it'll just get weaker and weaker and weaker, and you get worse fights for worse fights for worse fights, worse booking for booking for booking. When UFC was at its best, when they had 155, 170, 185, 155, 170, 185, 205 on heavyweight, yeah. When they had the 5, no women, that is when UFC was at its absolute best, because everyone was a superstar, because everyone was promoted properly.
Well, that's when Dana had the passion for it, though, bro.
And this is the problem. You add more to it now. He's not got the passion to it, so he's going to promote all these people.
So does there need to be a bigger conversation that he just needs to move on now? Like
you do. You have to get him out. I agree that we've always said the weight cut between 205 and heavyweight is quite extreme in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, even 85 to 205.
85 to 205 is quite extreme, because look at Whitaker. Whitaker can't go 205.
He can't go 205.
And
he's too big for 70.
Yeah, and he get destroyed. So he's in a crux of his career now, where he's looking at himself, might thinking, I'm never going to win the titles. What's the point? I've got nowhere to go. I'm stuck in a weight class because I can't shrink down to 170 and I'm too small for 205. So there needs to be that weight class in between. But my worry is that it's just going to be poorly promoted and in a few years' time just be forgotten about.
I think we'd get better quality fights if there's more divisions, because you'll get fighters fitting in at their most optimum weight class. Because there's certain fighters that are too big for lightweight, but too small for welterweight. And they're flipping in between the two. Jesus Christ. And they're flipping between the two because they haven't found a home. Like, I'd say Kevin Lee, probably struggles with a weight cut to 55, too small for 70.
RDA
division.
RDA is another one.
RDA. You could even say McGregor, bit too big for 55, too small for 70, 65 would have been.
Probably even Colby Covington. Covington's not a big 70-pounder.
And probably even Colby. And like with the women, like he signed, the UFC signed loads of atom weights and made them fight straw weight.
Yeah. I would add the atom weight division to the UFC instead of going higher weight.
Considering
I'd featherweight back as well, because there are women in that bantamweight who will prefer to go up to 45. So even if the divisions start out small at the beginning, you build them up. You're a promoter. Your job is to build fighters and fights, and that means building divisions as well. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too. You just can't. If you're not going to put the work in and promote these lot, then what do you want out of them?
You have to ask that to Dana, because I think his passion. Like, I don't watch Power Slap because I think it's a fucking disgrace.
Yeah,
and I will not watch Power Slap. But the fact that Jamie's saying that they're promoting, the bitch slappers more than they're promoting the actual fighters, shows where Dana.
We're seeing it on pay-per-view cards, bro. Like,
I know
that's talking about slap on pay-per-view cards. Like,
we're seeing the UFC shills, the Bispings. Shout out Bisping, UK MMA legend, but he's now a UFC shill. Hyping up Power Slap.
DC.
Like DC, John Anik.
Leave him alone.
Like, think of any other legendary fighter that is sort of sat there ringside with a Power Slap going, oh my God, this is so good. This is real fighting. It's not. It's just a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, it's actually
a bunch of bitches.
And it just shows like Dana's just so out of touch. Like I keep on making a comparison, and obviously not talking about the stuff going on outside of the business, like in their personal lives. Dana is just a new version of Vince McMahon. He's just doing stuff that makes him happy. he's not thinking about the fans. Like, how much, Jay, were you as a wrestling fan sitting there with some of the decision making Vince was making, just going, "What the hell are you doing? You're only doing this to please and benefit yourself." They was doing the same. No one was clamoring for Stipe versus Jones. He just wants to see that fight.
He wants to give. He wants to give Jones what he wants. He wants to give John Jones what he wants. The same guy that has to do community service for a misdemeanor he did.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
That is crazy. The one thing I will say about Dana, one thing I'll say about Uncle Dana, right, is that Slap, we don't like Slap because we're MMA enthusiasts, It is fucking popular though. This is the problem, because in today's society, people like seeing shit like this. They like scrolling through Twitter and YouTube Shorts and seeing Slap. It's very popular in this society, and I think that's more of a demographic of the society we live in today than anything else, personally. And if he was able to put Slap on pay-per-view like UFC, I think it would do as high numbers as a UFC card.
Trust me, that will be the prelims. Will be Slap.
Yeah, it will be eventually.
And there'll be no more fights.
We live in that era. We live in the era of kids like things. People like to see things in about 5 minutes now, and that's it.
Hands on the ground.
And Slap's perfect for it because it's violent, it's unnecessary, it's brutal, it looks crazy. Kids and young adults today, I go watch that shit and absorb it because it's like you can scroll through it quick, and that's why it's so popular. Unfortunately,
I think we're going to start seeing Slap on the UFC cards,
and that's the society we live in. Unfortunately,
and then when you get fighters like Kevin Holland, slagging off fighters that demand better fighter pay because why aren't they fighting on enough cards? Well, when you have a roster of 700 fighters that you literally cannot give everyone a fight, and they're not making any money for about a year because you can't physically fit them on the card, but yet you want to potentially take that opportunity away by sticking people slapping each other in the face because they're failed in the previous career. That's why you're doing Power Slap, because you failed at either trying to make it as a combat fighter or you're rock bottom and you've literally got fuck all else to do. At ARK, I did see their reporter gargling and Dana's nuts at a press conference, basically sucking on his balls about Power Slap. It's a fucking disgrace.
Did you see Ariel Helwani breakdown about? Sorry, guys.
Do you know Power Slap fighters receive around £100,000 a fight?
No way. Yeah, Dana's lost it.
So it says here, Power Slap winners earn between 10,000 per match. Some veteran slap fighters earn £100,000 in purses.
That's outrageous.
You can't. They're earning a decent contract,
Some slap fighters are earning as much as UFC fighters that might make a fight night or a prelims on the UFC.
Same.
ARK says no, it's 2 + 2.
I'm just reading it on Google now. That's where I got it. I'm just reading it on Google now.
Unfortunately, this sport's washed.
Did you guys see the Ariel Helwani breakdown of Francis Ngannou and Dana White's beef over the years? Because even recently, Dana's come out saying that Francis Ngannou is a bad guy, he's horrible, and I'm like, but hold on, is McGregor an angel? Is Jones an angel?
You probably Jones's ball sack.
All them make money for him, and the guy never did.
But I hear that, Jay. But he's openly lying about Ngannou.
Oh, yeah, he's openly lying. Look, we all know what Dana is. He's a psychopathic nut job, right?
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, we all love Ngannou, but he never made money. And that's just unfortunate. Same with John Jones, by the way. John Jones might be the greatest of all time, yeah?
Jones never made that.
Same
with Mighty Mouse. Same with Mighty Mouse.
Never cracked a
billion. They're not pay-per-view draws.
But is that on them or is that on the organization?
This is always what I've been saying. How can Mighty Mouse, John Jones, and Ngannou not be pay-per-view draws?
All right, so John Jones, I'll give a blight to the organization. John Jones has done a lot of stuff. Let's be real.
Yeah,
He's
but it's an
himself in the-
if you was a kid, if you was a youngster, and you heard this fight was doing crazy shit on there, and then he's in the main event, or you're watching that main event.
Yeah.
Surely, how is it not transitioning? What are they doing wrong? I mean, I'd want to tune if I was a 20-year-old lad and I saw John Jones just, run over a pregnant woman. I think he did, didn't he? Stopped by the cops a couple of miles up, took a breathalyzer test, found every shit under his seat possible.
Yeah.
And then he still fought the weekend. I feel like I'm watching that fight the weekend.
ARK,
No, right.
ARK, that is facts. Dana slapped his own wife. Yeah, and he's trying to give moral advice.
Yeah, I mean,
About,
do we know
about
what she
Francis
said to him,
Ngannou's
though?
character.
Do we know?
Yeah.
Do we know what she said to him, though? We've all been that close, ain't we?
Yeah, I know.
She did.
But that doesn't
No, she
excuse-
hit him, but he's still no excuse for him. Like
that doesn't
he
excuse
should be
the
restraining.
action.
I'm an advocate. If someone hits you, look, if a guy hits a guy,
She got her in
I
a
believe
Kimura.
in self-defense. Yeah.
It's time to throw down.
If
Yeah,
a woman hits a guy, I believe the guy has the right to restrain himself.
Yeah, restrainer. Yeah,
Yeah.
he should have got her in a Kimura, if you ask me.
Yeah. Obviously not break the arm, but like,
No. I would've
yeah.
twisted.
But yeah, restrain. Like I'm all for restraining. Like
He
if a
did
woman
it on
hits-
telly, and no
restrain
one
her.
cared. 2 days later,
Oh, we
he
heard what
died.
she said. She told Dana Islam's pound for pound number one.
Yeah.
Possibly. But I just think in that situation, like I swear, like when they were breaking it down, with Dana's latest tirade about Francis's character.
Crazy.
Like did Francis probably have an ego back when he was fighting Stipe for the first time? Yes, probably. Did he probably ask for a shitload of things?
What
Yes.
fighter doesn't?
He probably
Every
did.
fighter's got an ego.
Oh,
Of course they
Yeah,
have.
but who fucking doesn't?
Every fighter's got an
Who
ego, man.
fucking doesn't? Like
Like
you
Dana,
have a
here's
heavyweight
the
belt.
killer. One of the press media people asked him this, but they didn't double down, unfortunately. Dana started off saying France is all about the money. That's why he's with PFL. And then he turned around and said,
It must be.
we offered him more money than what he's making now. So what is it then? Because if he's all about the money, he's gonna take the highest
But
deal,
then-
right?
then
Yeah, that
Dana
don't
was
make
like,
sense,
oh,
does it? That don't make
Oh,
sense.
like I don't like his character. Like I don't like his character. You don't like his character. We don't like your character. We don't like
No,
the way
like
that you
your
conduct
character,
business.
Yeah.
You're
make money,
openly
yeah.
shaking your bum for Saudi to say, "Oh, please kick off my Zuffa boxing." The thing that I've never been able to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Please,
Even that,
please.
he's not going to
Turkey.
survive in the boxing world with how he
He's not gonna
speaks, how he
survive.
deals with
Hey,
That-
look how Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren cook Ben Shalom, a boxer, on a regular.
yeah.
Look how Floyd cooked Dana in the Conor McGregor
Yeah.
press tour. Literally every opportunity Dana got cooked.
That's the
Could
greatest.
you imagine what
press
Frank
tour.
Warren and Eddie Hearn would do to fucking Dana White?
Oh, I know. That
Oh
was
my days, they would rip him to
They'd run
That-
circles around him.
that was the greatest press tour in combat sport. history.
Oh, facts.
Hey, I
It-
have to
Conor
watch the
Floyd
highlights
was-
every now and
oh,
again. When I'm
sensational.
feeling a little bit down, I need a little bit of motivation.
Yeah, that Toronto one, that was the best one. The Toronto one was the best
Yeah, it was just great,
I
man.
want you to scream on the top of your lungs.
one.
Oh,
I
come
think
here,
we forget, Conor's got the highest pay-per-view buys in boxing and MMA.
and MMA.
I
Mad.
don't think that Mayweather one was number one.
No,
I think-
Mayweather Pacquiao took over it eventually.
Yeah.
No, I think Mayweather McGregor still beat Mayweather Pacquiao. I think.
I think it's is it Mayweather Canelo was up there? I'm not.
No,
I don't think
Mayweather.
there's a lot in
Canelo
it.
was
I don't
No.
think there's a lot in it. I don't think there's a lot in it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
ARK said because of Dana's narrative that Francis was scared of John, he said that he didn't want to go into business with Francis anymore because he offered him more money. But Dana was the same guy
He
that said John Jones
Jones
needed to hop back down to what would need to cut off his leg and jump down to 185 because he doesn't want that smoke. And conveniently, the second Francis walked out that door, hey,
Jones
John
wanted
Jones ready to
smoke.
rock and roll at heavyweight, baby.
John Jones
Against
wanted
an
the
opponent that every single person knew that he was going to maul inside one round because Cyril Gane has no grappling whatsoever.
Here, guys. Here. On December the 14th, 2017, Showtime officially announced 4.3 million domestic buyers, making McGregor versus Mayweather the second highest buy rate in pay-per-view history.
Yeah, ARK said Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao 4.6.
Yeah, that's just so Conor's got that in boxing and whatever he's got in UFC.
Out of the top 10 I think you went through it, Jay. Out of the top 10 buys in UFC, I think he's got 8 of them, right?
8 of them, and the other one's Brock Lesnar.
Brock
Lesnar, Frank Mir, and then it's Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah,
Fight Island was the other one.
That's it. That's the 10.
Can you imagine if and this is where the UFC so serious. Remember they held him off from fighting at Fight Island. Can you imagine if they lined him up at Fight Island, what numbers he would have got when no one else was doing sports?
What, McGregor?
Oh my god!
Oh, it'll probably been. I reckon it would have been close to 4 mil.
I reckon it would have been higher than that
because there was no
Usman and Masvidal did what they did. McGregor versus someone would have done major. Let's say it was McGregor versus Gaethje, for example. I would have done crazy money.
Okay, no, what they had money in COVID, they would have found goddamn money.
I'm not gonna lie, I was richer during the pandemic than I am now.
Yeah, he's
right.
Because I was working, I wasn't having to travel into London and pay any fees or anything to travel. And I weren't going out and doing anything with the money. I was able to save stupid money every month. I was rich during pandemic.
Yeah,
I'm broke now.
Like, red panties.
Yeah, I'm broke now.
I had 4 OnlyFans accounts. Mad.
You're not even joking. You got a straight face. You're not even joking. Oh, boys. Guys, I'm ready to smash that like button. Right, boys, let's move on to 308. Couple of things. All right, we've spoken about the main event, the co-main, and the fighters there. Ankalaev for Pereira. Do you think he finally gets that title shot now?
He's got to get the title shot because you can't not give it to him
by
now.
default, innit?
Yeah, but he did not do himself any favors at all. I mean, Dana probably watched that fight and thought, if I can get out of this, I will. But I've got to give it to him now because if I don't give it to him now, when am I going to give it to him? So he's got no choice. But if he fights like that against Pereira, it's over in a round, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it's over in a round.
Yeah,
he's got to wrestle him. He has to wrestle Pereira to beat him.
Yeah, but he's probably going to be stubborn like the rest of them. So it's probably say he's going to stand.
Well, you get caught in a trance.
Bang.
You get caught in a trance,
and then he's going to get knocked out.
Would you stare at him? Would you stare at him in the stare?
No, who Pereira? No,
yeah, because I think he
I
does
would turn my back to him. I'm not even facing him.
I've never seen Roundtree smirk or look a little nervous in a fight in my life till he stared in that man's eyes.
Exactly. Why'd you do it?
I wouldn't.
It's got a death wish.
Do you remember what Steve Collins did against Chris Eubank with the earphones?
Yeah.
And the hoodie. Just say, yeah, I'll do that, man.
Bro, the moment I stepped, obviously, let's say in some crazy world I was fighting Pereira. I'm obviously going in as challenger. You see, even when he's doing the bow and arrow thing, I ain't looking.
Yeah, you're hopping over it and you're running out of the arena.
Yeah, I'm not looking.
I'm not definitely doing what Jamal Hill did, was break the arrow.
Nah, no way. And then when he gets in the cage and he does a little jog around, I ain't looking. And then when he's doing a stare down, I am not looking. I'm speaking to my corner and I'm not looking in his face.
It's the nastiest stare down in MMA, man.
Hey, a Crow Cop Potan stare down as ARK said.
Oh, Wanderlei Silva in his prime.
Crow Cop, you remember that?
You remember that stare down? And he's just doing that. And he's just looking
murderer versus an actual murderer.
And Joe Rogan said it's the only time Silva lost the stare down.
Yeah, and he got battered in that.
Crow Cop just literally looked past. He looked through his soul.
Yeah, but remember, this ain't Crow Cop and fighting. This is light work for him. The guy was like a military guy.
He was Croatian police, weren't he?
No, special forces.
Yeah. You know what they do?
He unalived a lot of people, apparently.
He took people's lives, man.
Yeah, literally. He's about that life.
Yeah.
So
you know
this is just a hobby for him.
Do you know what Crow Cop's problem was in MMA, Low? He was too small as a heavyweight.
Got knocked out with Brendan Straub. That's what his problem was.
He was too small for a heavyweight, in my opinion. Too big for a light heavyweight, and he had a very small chin.
Yeah, and he came into the UFC late as well.
Yeah, I don't care about Crow Cop. Crow Cop and Pride. Crow Cop in Pride is different gravy, man. The greatest heavyweight title fight I've ever seen in my life is still Fedor Crow Cop.
Right leg hospital, left leg cemetery. You know
Yeah.
what? Bars.
Yeah, it's just that's a nasty man. Yeah, that's a nasty man.
AFK said F. Brendan's right.
Guys, what we should do some retro Pride watch-alongs or something.
I'm down.
Someone did say to me on my channel yesterday about like reviewing old UFC cards.
Fuck UFC, Pride, man.
Yeah, I'm down.
Pride is amazing.
I'm so down.
Sign me up.
Pride was the greatest MMA competition ever.
Shara Bullet, guys. Shara Bullet called out.
Oh, LeChuck.
He called out Izzy Adesanya.
Yeah, Izzy got a bit pissed off for that.
I wouldn't give him Izzy though. I tell you who I would
give
give him.
it. But Dana said he's ready for a top 5, top 10 guy. I'm thinking,
no, he's not.
Based on that performance, like his performance.
I'm good with, what are you saying, Paulo Costa, guys? Shara Bullet for Paulo Costa. What are we saying?
Oh, good fight. You've made it. That's the fight. Do it. Because Paulo Costa's going that way. He's going that way.
I hope they meet in the middle.
It makes sense, yeah. And also, it's a name that people recognise.
Yeah, so it gives him the rub if he wins the fight.
I was going to say Jared Cannon there.
Nah, I think you can do that later.
Or Marvin Vittori.
Oh, we forgot to mention a certain scarce guy who wants Ilya.
No. Hey, I don't want to fuck that fight, mate. You fucking knock me out.
I'll be honest.
Do you know what? If he can get hold of Ilya and take him down.
No. Ilya's wrestling and his jiu-jitsu is highly underrated because since he's coming into the UFC, all he's done is knock out motherfuckers. Before he came to the UFC, he was basically a submission machine.
Who's got a better left hand? Did you see this? Who is it?
Or Ilya?
Yeah.
Ilya's is more better technique, but Poetan's got that.
I mean, a different way.
I'm gonna keep on saying it. He's not human. Alex Pereira is not human, so it's unfair to compare him to a human. He's not human. Him and Francis took a couple L's just to make it look like they're human. They were built in Area 51. Him and Francis Ngannou were built in Area 51. They ain't humans. You've seen Alex Pereira's limbs grow in front of him.
Yeah. And the thing is,
That's his left hook.
That left hook he hit Max with, he put his whole soul behind, it was perfect technique. But Pereira just does that.
You on the top of the head, and then you're like this.
I don't know if Pereira's done 100% shot yet.
He can't.
He'll be dead.
He holds back. You're saying Pereira holds back in case he kills someone?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Look, if he goes 100% and then his robot malfunctions, what happens then? The word's out. UFC's been fighting people against robots.
That's a good point here as well. Ilya learns a left-handed combo. Poetan just lands the left self, lands by itself. He just walks you down. With a left hook. Just walks you down.
Yeah. Steps in with the left hook and says, "See you later." Gone. Bam. See ya.
Good night, Vienna.
Thanks for the fight. Yeah, different levels, man. But yeah,
man took a best left like it was nothing.
I'm just waiting when. Yeah, fuck off. I got work to do. I've got this little punk to knock out.
Yeah, he's two best left hookers in the fight.
Yeah, Pereira and it looks like that's gonna be the fight, Cal. That's Pereira's last fight though at that division, in my opinion.
Yeah, because there's no one else from there unless you're gonna do Blachowicz. But here's the thing: Blachowicz should have fought again and got a win or two, and then he could have been like, "Look, he got a lucky win against me. That's the fight," and he would have been able to sell that fight. But he can't sell it off the power of the premise of fighting no one. There's nothing.
He did the Colby. He's done the Colby Covington.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Blachowicz. It's weird.
If Pereira wins in that next fight, in my opinion, the heavyweight division's going to be a bit light. So I think he goes up to the heavyweight division. I'm going to keep saying it. In April, Easter weekend, Pereira versus Aspinall for the vacant title.
Listen to this. If he beats Ankalaev, he's beating Ankalaev, Prohatska, Jamal Hill, Blakovic, Roundtree. Rakic has just lost, so he's not going to get it. The only other person would be Krylov. Or unless Carlos Olberg can really make like waves quickly. But I don't see it happening.
And Pereira's 37. We've got to remember this.
Exactly. He's not going to stick around forever. That's why he's been fighting.
And the heavyweight division, apart from Aspinall, the heavyweight division needs a star, don't they?
Yeah. Light heavyweight, and it's crazy because they were the two premier divisions, light heavyweight and heavyweight back in the day. Now they're losing two fighters away from
Chimaev versus Poatan.
Yeah, that's the fight.
Oh my god.
205. But Chimaev needs to win a belt first for that to happen.
Yeah, Chimaev needs to take out the middleweight division before he moves up, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think he has to, Jay. With him, it'd be different. I think so. All right, here's my crazy vision for Chimaev. He wins the 85-pound belt. Shavkat beats Bilal. Them two fight 70 for the belt. Two undefeated fighters. Let's say he beats Shavkat, double weight champion, and then he goes back up to 205.
I mean, he could do that. If it is DDP next, I don't think DDP's an easy fight.
It's not. He beats DDP
because DDP's just so weird and awkward, ain't he? And
bro, he just made Robert Whittaker's teeth move, bro.
Yeah, the thing with Whittaker, and I'm not going to take anything away from his fight with Whittaker.
He's been in a lot of wars.
He has. He's an old boy who's been in a lot of wars with everyone in the middle division.
Robert Whittaker a few days before spoke about his jaw. So he had an injury when he was 19.
He's got loose teeth.
He shattered his jaw, and the reason why he grows a goatee is to hide the basically the swelling that is still there.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And then because he said that, Hamzat just grabbed hold of it.
Hamzat must have just gone, face crank, done. So he didn't dislocate anything.
No, he didn't, but he moved his teeth.
He moved his teeth back.
That's mad.
And Hamzat was super respectful, to be fair. So
they both were.
The only thing with Hamzat, I will say, and Pereira fighting is the heavyweight division is if John Jones and that do quit, and this is on the thing that Steve Payne and John Jones called it a day. They have their one fight, thank the crowd, thank everyone, leave their things in the ring, and they call it a day, go in the sunset. The heavyweight division is lacking superstars. It's only really got Aspinall.
And Aspinall's already been most of the division as well.
Yeah, and he's beat everyone below him already.
Yeah.
So Dana White really needs Pereira in the heavyweight division. He desperately does. Could you imagine Pereira Aspinall?
Sign me up, man.
Swing me up.
Sign me up. Before we sign off, boys, we've got a UFC fight night at the weekend. We've got Brandon Moreno versus Al-Bazi. He's returning. You've got Blachowicz versus Namajunas. You've got Derek Lewis versus Deniz. And you've got Barrios versus Stolfus. Mike Malone versus Trevin Giles. Good card. Do you guys think if Brandon Moreno is able to, if he doesn't win this fight, do you think he moves up in weight?
Yeah, moves up to fight Henry Cejudo. They've got.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, and they've still got a blood feud. Plus, this is the first event that will be having the 12 to 6 elbows legalized.
Yeah, not just that. I look at the success that Davison Figueiredo's having at 35 and the fact that Moreno's got victories over him. Do you think that would inspire Moreno as well? Because look, if he loses this fight to Al-Bazi, he's not getting a title shot. So he'd be sort of in that same sort of
gatekeeperish mold.
Yeah, gatekeeperish that Max Holloway's in at the moment and Dustin Poirier's in. Like,
unless he wins, he should have to pray Asakura beats Pantoja, which spoiler,
he's not doing it. Pantoja's gonna walk through Asakura.
He's gonna submit Asakura less than 3 rounds.
Yeah,
calling it out.
Gonna walk through him.
I don't know what they're gonna do, man. To be honest, I give a shit.
I'm looking forward to seeing Brandon Moreno come back, though.
Yeah, the fight nights are usually okay if you can catch.
This one's a decent one. Derek Lewis is
in Canada, so it should be pretty good. I may or may not do a watch on for that. Main card kicks off at midnight, so still.
Fight nights are always earlier, aren't they?
Yeah.
Back end of the year, they're going to be early. So when not to do a watch long as, my schedule subject to change. That's all I can let
No,
people
I've
know.
got about Fight Nights. Fight Night should be on YouTube, man.
Start doing the boxing.
Oh, that's a shout, Jay.
I've always said it. Fight Night should be on YouTube.
That's a shout.
It gets there. Every person's pretty much around the world.
That's a shout, Jay. That's a bloody good shout.
Put it in YouTube. Put advertisement into it as well, where you make the money through advertisement.
Yeah.
And you get more people watching your product on YouTube for free, but you still make money because you go and make advertisement money.
Yeah, and views as well.
Yeah, exactly. So
Jay, that's a shout.
they should. I don't know why they don't do that. They don't do enough with YouTube. YouTube's there, man. It's better.
They should pay us to watch the Fight Nights.
More people watch YouTube than they do TV today.
Yeah.
They consume so much through it. I don't think they use it enough. They use it when you got a pay-per-view coming up and they have a marathon of old fights, but that's not really going to get no,
it's not going to do much.
Get people who might not be able to afford all this stuff. Fight Nights on YouTube. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
You can. You don't have to have a playback option on it.
Even if they did it once a month, even if they did one card once a month, you're right, Jay. I can't lie. That's a bloody good idea.
Make money off it, man.
Yeah,
make money off it, but they won't do it.
Crazy. But before we go, Luke, I'll start with you. Tell the people where they can find you, and if you have anything coming up, you can tell the people about, please, brother.
Yes, so you can find me on my channel, Luke Tanner. I do have a video out tomorrow, a boxing one. It's about talks starting between Chris Eubanks Jr. and Canelo Alvarez for some point next year. So
what?
Yeah, you heard that right. Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Canelo potentially being made in the UK 2025.
What?
Possibly Wembley, and I'll be discussing why that fight is the wrong move for both fighters.
What?
Yeah, definitely is the wrong move.
Why does Alvarez fight? Why does Alvarez fight every British bum?
Well, we can discuss that too. Discuss that tomorrow. But that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. It'll be like a pre-record. So that'll be uploaded tomorrow night. So
man's gone through Britain enough. Leave us alone. Jesus.
Yeah, facts.
Oh my God.
Jay, what you got coming up, bro?
I ain't got nothing coming out at the moment. Hopefully by the weekend, obviously, I'll have some footage up. I'm hoping to do a special. I don't usually talk about other teams on my channel, but I'm going to talk about the Arsenal crybabies. I just have to do it. I've got so much on my chest I need to talk about. And all the people that suck Arsenal's dick that don't support Arsenal. I just need to get out of my system. And once I've got that out of my system, I need to get something else out of my system as well.
Oh, what's that?
That Slot's not Klopp and people have got to get over it.
Facts. Been saying this.
You're going to get a lot of hate. You're going to get a lot of hate.
People just can't get over the fact we're not. Why don't we go after teams more? Why are we not killing teams off?
That's not who we are anymore.
Look, the last Arsenal game at the Emirates, we lost 3-1, by the way.
Yeah.
That's forgotten about. Gomez played left back.
Yeah, that team was missing 3 players that changed from that lineup.
Yeah, the same midfield, by the way. Same midfield. Curtis Jones, Gravenberch, and McAllister. Started in the February game. Virgil Canati played, Trent played, Gomez played, Alisson played. There was just no Salah. We lost 3-1.
Yeah.
Look at Callum's face.
I keep on saying this. I love Klopp. Everyone thinks I hate Klopp. I don't. Anyone who knows me knows I love Klopp. But I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I love the guy. It was the right time for him to move on.
It just gets jarring. We're doing things differently now, and people just have to change. People just have to change with the times. Not every manager's going to be the same. We're going to play differently. We're doing this differently. We're doing that differently. And look, I've got so much shit on my chest. Do you know how much I'd have unloaded over the weekend if I could have been able to? He would have been mad. There'd have been juice everywhere, man. He would have been mad.
ARK. Why is it 3 foods?
I would have just unloaded. Man, I get so fed up.
Oh, I don't even know he's referring to Arsenal crybabies and putting Terry's name, even though he supports United.
No, it's time for Klopp to move on. And look, I wish him all the best in the future. I really do. But it's time, and Slot's not Klopp. Just
He's slot. He's slot. Yeah.
He's Slot.
No, we've already said it. Slot slags. That's what we are.
On that bombshell.
Yeah.
I'm a slut for Slot. I can't help it.
I'm not gonna go that far. And yeah, look, I hope Slot's backed properly, because we're still seeing Slot do this. He ain't even been able to back properly. Like, he brought in one player.
You think what he's doing with that, his players not playing his system,
crazy,
and he's doing such a good job. Yeah. And do you know previous seasons, before you finish, I'm going to say this while you're live as well. I don't care. So previous seasons,
I'll go for it.
People said the players were overrated and it was all on Klopp. I'm just. I've heard this all the time, and and if Slot carries on like this, are these same players still overrated, or is Slot now a genius? And I mean, what is it? What are we doing?
Uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah, I've just dropped it. Oh no.
Right.
I dropped it on Coppish the other night as well.
Yikes. What did Drift say? Because you're lucky to still be alive, if I'm going to be honest, bro.
Drift are cool. I've rubbed off on Drift in the wrong way, Pauls. Where I've been doing so many watch-alongs with Drift, I've noticed Drift turned a little heel lately. I'm just like...
yeah, no,
I don't know. I'm rubbing off on Drift a little bit,
No. I mean, these conversations, Jay, I'll let you have them, bro, because if I have them, I get called all the names under the sun. Like,
oh, so do I.
But you ain't speaking lies. That's what I will say.
No.
And I'm saying this to someone who loves Klopp. Can't pick and choose.
Oh, and when Szoboszlai don't play, we miss him.
Yeah, that one I'm not on board with yet.
Jordan Henderson, man. We only realised how good Jordan Henderson was when he didn't play.
And I love Szoboszlai, but I'm not there with that one yet. Maybe one day, we'll see. I'm not there yet. I love Szoboszlai. I'm not there yet, though. I need to see more. But we will see. People, if you haven't already, please do smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'll probably be back tomorrow at some point, maybe early afternoon or in the morning. ARK, I did not say that about Klopp. Such a wind-up. But nah, Luke, Jamie, always a pleasure. I love doing these shows. I love working with you guys. So thanks so much for making the time. I do appreciate it. People, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, subscribe to Jamie's channel, subscribe to Luke's channel. Thank you all for watching. This has been the Sanderson Show. Take care, everyone. See you later. Nice one, guys.
Do you do the intro outro bit on the StreamYard stuff?